right attention, good karate bow. Great, everyone sit really good. I have a few notes here, go over the things, but the main thing I want to work on later on, the last thing we'll do is welcoming new students and some key points that we're going to look at what we want to really consider as instructors, you know, as martial artists, as black belts, especially when we're striving for mastery. We want to make sure there are key things that we remember, because remember, we cannot make a master without a black belt. We cannot make a black belt without a white belt. And it's so important that when a white belt comes in that we remember, you know, possibly what we went through as a white belt. And this is why Tom Callis really, one of the requirements, and also Master Now is one of our requirements also for, as you go for mastery, that you want to start a system that you've never done before. And that's when he mentioned it for Master Patrick's presentation with the sword. You know, do something you've never done before. Mine was jiu-jitsu. Mine was also showing you guys the modern arnis. I've done that several times. I have several systems that I started as white belt. And so especially at Al rank, we forget what it was like when we started as a white belt. And so the idea is always be a student. And you'll be a better teacher if you are always this perpetual student. And I've shared before, my grandfather shares two things that when I asked him, you know, what's the secret to, you know, being at your age of being healthy and positive, and he's like 96, just turned 96 years old, and he says two things. He says, first thing is always stay connected to people, always. Now, he can't get around anymore because his body is just basically falling apart and literally falling off. He's got his second pacemaker and getting ready for his third because he's outliving them, okay? But he says you stay connected. He used to, I think he stopped driving last year. Last year, when he was 95, he stopped driving. He drove up here up to Nova Scotia. He lives in Florida when he was 93 years old. He has this electric car that he bought probably about 15 years ago, one of the first ones, and incredible. And so anyway, he says two things: stay connected. Now he can't get around physically, but he does it through Facebook now. Okay, and he says always be a student, always learn. Always learn. And so so that's really, really important. So we're going to talk about that. That's the last thing we'll talk about. One thing I want to do is to talk about the black belt test. You know, the black belt test, you know, was great. It was incredible to be there. Mr. Laramie was there. It was great to see you using your skills and going around getting great images. Thank you for some, you know, the kind of images I look for, like these, like caught in a moment. I like real images that, you know, that people are in a moment, in a second of time that's captured. That's really important. And Mr. Laramie's great at that. Of course, his decades of experience, you know, with some really great stories. If you ever had a chance, ask Mr. Laramie some great stories. I would love to read your book. You're just short little stories of experiences, you know, that you had, some images maybe that go with that. But I know, I mean, gosh, and so just rich with life experiences, and you have the gift to capture that in still photography. It's brilliant, brilliant. And so he was there to see that happen. And also I have this one video that I did in the beginning where I had all the black belts, and I kept that mostly in the beginning of most of the little videos I put up there. And you see the feeling that I had when I did these little last productions that I had done of those videos. I was very moved emotionally with the people, and that's why the music I use and everything like that, because that really is real life. Martial arts is life. Life is martial arts, and this has always been my experience. So the black belt test, really, we want to take it so that's bigger now. We want to turn it to a spectacular, and we're playing with this idea, Master Now, right afterwards. And even before we did the test on Saturday, we talked about how we want to turn it into where there's a separate test, 3-hour test, with no one there except the testers, the candidates, and then have a spectacular, like a show. That's less time, maybe about 45 minutes to an hour. So that's where we invite people. So I want to plant the seed in the CI team members, and this is where we're going to represent ourselves. This, your ability to put together a presentation, to put together maybe some thoughts, because I did this when I had my school. I had all my belt promotions were in preparation for the black belt test, and the black belt test was a spectacular. And the way I did it in the beginning was that we would meet. Remember we used to go down to the YMCA, at Gloucester YMCA. That's where we used to have the test with Master Garagusa would be, and some of the other schools would be there. And we would get there about 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay, the requirement for my candidates were to meet at 5 o'clock in the morning. We would go to the track here, the Lenape track, I believe, some school here. We'd meet there 5 o'clock in the morning. They would run 4 miles. They would do 100 pushes, 100 sit-ups, and a couple of other things. And they would be there. And then what they would do, I'd give them enough time where they had to go home, shower, get cleaned up, get something to eat, and come back to the black belt presentation fresh. The requirement was that they could not look like they had a 5 o'clock test. And I love that because it's something that's theirs, that they can own up, that they knew amongst their group. That's something that they did. So the whole idea is creating a special moment for the black belt presentation. This one, when you put that belt on, it's like, it's so much special. And so the question is, what can we do to make it more special? Not only for the candidates, but also for those that they invite. And so we want to make it the test, a test that is, we're going to say, it's not a presentation, this is your test. You've trained yourself for this day, every single day, so that you can come out and then show us where you are based on your training. And so if you cannot do 100 push-ups on that moment, then we're going to say that you did not do your training. You got to go back. So it's actually going to be a test. Okay, now we're still working out, and our goal is to have it next October. 2013. Okay, 2013. Well, you know, thanks to Master Donato. Thanks to Master Donato. It is then. My things, we got 6 months. But you can thank Master Donato for that. Okay, good. That's funny. So we're going to make sure we do that, and we're going to let you guys know, especially CIT members, you guys are going to really be key factor in that. We got to lead the way. Master Donato we and I will lead the way, but you guys really are going to be so important when it comes to that. Okay, so make sure to keep that in mind. So images, videos, stories, you know, that becomes, you know, we think, let's say marketing as far as telling our story of what's going on here, that becomes stories. You know, a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? And if you have video, moving pictures, you know, that's like endless words being said there. You know, I mean, I know for me, an image alone, just my imagination goes wild. And I have great appreciation for still photography, more so than video, because it lets your imagination really go off over the top, and where you just really create the image itself. That's when you know a real great photographer. When your imagination, and then the story really comes out, and then your imagination goes, I just go wild. Am I getting geeky again? I'm sorry. You know, but video also, we want all this. But this becomes our pieces that we're going to share with our community. Let them know this is what makes us unique. We have this idea in the business world called a unique selling proposition, the USP. Okay, and everyone, we ask every business owner, every school owner, what's your unique selling proposition? What makes you unique? Now, we have 20 martial arts schools in this area. What makes you unique? Well, I teach kicks and punches. That's not unique. Well, I create leaders. Well, you know what? These days, that's not unique. Okay, we have instructors that we give them high-level training. Well, that's not unique. What's unique? You know, and that's why for me, what makes us unique are the instructors here. And let me share with you very quickly, and a testimony. We've sent out, Mrs. Donato sent out, Mrs. Donato's doing a great job with this, and the learning, technology, and sent out an email for people to just share their stories. You know, how have we helped Donato Christ and helped them? And the one thing that stands out the most, well, let me read one here. And this is from, we have a little boy named Ian Macy. Okay, he's training for right now for his black belt. He'll be going in October of this year. And it says, Donato Karate has been an instrumental part of our child's life. Our son has been a part of this extended family since the age of 3 years old. Over the last 3.5 years, our son has learned how to control his temper, has self-respect, honor, and self-discipline. The instructors have been positive role models that our son not only looks up to, but inspires to be. And if you look at all our testimonials, you'll see that that's what stands out the most, our instructors. Okay, I'm always looking for my replacement. Okay, and I have a passion for what I do because I know it touches lives, it affects lives, because I needed that when I was young. And I'm still dealing with residuals of not having that when I was younger. You know, there's parts of my character that are still being chiseled away and molded into something greater. Okay, because I always hear this from other people that I mentor or that I teach. I wish I would have met you when I was at this age. The same thing with me. I wish there was a program like this when I was 6 years old, 3 years old, because we teach as young as 3.5, 4 years old, so that because I didn't get something like this until I was in my 30s. Okay, and so and I think Mr. Laramie can relate to this. I think I don't know, you have your own experience, but it's powerful. So I'm looking for the instructors. That's why the CIT for me is so important. I will always champion a program like this because you guys are our replacement. If not you, then someone next alongside you, next to you. We're looking for our bench strength, someone who's going to take over. If something happens to me, who's going to go into position. Now, the program is powerful enough and makes a difference, and it's important enough. I need to take responsibility to make sure it continues beyond me. I've already had probably 3 programs that I started that changed the community that I had to shut down because I couldn't be there anymore. This program is still going on with one of the instructors. I knew going into that program that I needed to make sure that I trained up people to replace me if something happened to me, and that happened, and it's still going. For what it's worth, it's still going. And it's still alive. Whereas my first 2 schools, because of the economy, I had to shut down. I lost money. I did, other business decisions that I now know better, but back then I didn't know. But guess what? Our service deals with people. It's not just we're not just selling, markers or cell phones. We are selling this idea of character development, of changing, creating this person. And so people are involved. So when a business like ours goes under, people are affected. I've had that happen to me 3 times where, I've had the pain, hearing their pain, their loss, and how much I improved. And so for me, that's why I have this passion that I must look for my replacement. Okay, the other day, a good friend, not a good friend of mine, but somebody I've been following for years, since the Watergate, Chuck Colson. Chuck Colson passed away, but there was a person he has his radio, he has all this stuff going on, giving back to the community in his way. And when he passed away the other day from an aneurysm, somebody was in position right away, went on the radio show that he had and took over. He had somebody in position. Because we never know. We're not promised tomorrow. Yesterday's gone. All we have is today. So what are we doing today? CIT is all about that. And as you can see, I'm really passionate about this. So that's why these tools that I'm using, I'm getting all geeky and everything like that, because I want to try to find a way to make all this stuff available to you guys. So make sure you remember that it's bigger than us. Okay, it's not just about kicks and punches. And our uniqueness, I believe in this community, is that we are able to tell people and show people, in various ways, what's unique about us. And I think that's really going to be unique. And then the fact is that, what's unique about us is Mr. Laramie. What's unique about us is Mr. Boyle. What's unique about us is Master Donato. What's unique about us is me. Because we're doing kicks and punches, but guess what? Mr. Laramie is doing it. Mr. Alshul is doing it. Miss Eleanor's doing it. That's what makes us unique, are the people. So they need to meet the people. They need to see the images of those people. They need to hear the story of those people. And they need to hear how those people are going from here to there, the before and afters, which is what my last podcast was about. Elite was, marketing. I really am. I really disliking the idea of the word marketing because it really devalues what we're really doing. It's telling people, sharing the stories of what we are, basically selling people, selling them on this idea of personal development, how martial arts is a powerful, powerful tool and an environment that's created for personal development. And it's got this legacy of thousands of years that comes on this floor. So when we come on that floor and we bow, we are connected to a legacy that thousands of people have poured their lives literally into. We're part of that. Starting with Master Donato to Master Garaguso to Kwanje Nim, and then to that genealogy. Okay, so we want to make sure we remember all that. Next thing is that I want to really, so somebody give me a time check, because I'll probably go to the last part, Lena. Time check again. Very quickly, schools, know what's going on in the schools, and those of you that are in the schools, if your school's doing some powerful things, please let us know. Something as simple as this, talking about, the economy, not the economy, but being green, the environment. There we go, the environment is great. My wife brought this to my attention, found it in the Tuesday folder of my son, and I love this. Recycling plastic and turning them into flip-flops. Isn't that cool? But it's great stuff here. Another thing that's got my son pumped up, and I have an idea to see if we can do something like that here, is that my son's been coming home with this chain, and on it are little footprints on there. okay, and they're called big like toes, okay, and he's doing a recess running, this new program. So during recess, kids can volunteer to run around the track, and they run around one time, like say do 1 mile, they get a big toe. And my son has done that. He's gotten I think about 7, 8 of them, and they just keep piling up. And he's so excited about him and his friends. They're running around. I love it. So I say, I think it's running recess. So how about push up, sit up, recess, or before and after class. So I started tweaking out a program like that. Maybe we could find little colors that if they do, if they get, let's say 25 or 100 push-ups, they put it on their chain and they start this whole thing. Anyway, also the book I wanted to share is this book. I won this book several years ago. Is Alexander the Great. Great leader. Who knows about Alexander the Great? Who's heard about him, right? Incredible, incredible story. And I went online just finding out. They go online, Google him. But anyway, I did a leadership workshop for probably about a year with Coach Horner. There's a famous coach here in New Jersey. Coach Horner, his son Kyle Horner, gave a workshop on leadership. So every month he would have this leadership workshop called Forward. And he would take a leader of history and he would talk about their leadership skills, their practices. And one workshop we talked about Alexander the Great. And he would give out books and stuff I never won, and this day I won, and I got Alexander the Great. So I just want you guys this is one of the books that's in my library that I've read, and this was several years ago, so I can only tell you that it was great. I did get stuff out of it, but I can't remember off the top of my head, but I didn't want to share this with you guys there. I want to talk about welcoming new students, okay, and I took this and I edited from I had a CIT book that I would give to my CIT members in my academy. And this is where I'm going to be teaching a lot out of. Some of it is a review of what you guys already know. But even when I review, I'm looking forward to your questions to tell me some enlightenment. Okay, well, you said this again. And I get it, and this is what I'm seeing and hearing and feeling. Okay, and so remember, they say successful people, already know what to do. We just need to be reminded every once in a while what we already know, right? And I'm like that also. So here, welcoming, this first thing is that we have to remember that everyone at first are going to be a little bit embarrassed. And I see it even yesterday when a new kid came on the floor, there's this apprehension. They have this fear. And they don't want to be embarrassed. They don't want to look silly. And you look on the floor, you see all these people doing incredible. When this kid came in, we had black belts on the floor, as young as, Miss Wilkinson, and they're looking powerful. Mr. Boyle, these are kids doing and looking impressive. So you have another, how old are you, Mr. Boyle? 11 years old. Have another 11-year-old coming in, seeing someone like Mr. Boyle, and they say, oh my gosh, I can't do that. And I've got to go on the floor with them. And so we as instructors need to know how to meet and greet them and help them with that, knowing that that's what they might be feeling. So make sure to keep that in mind. Also, we have to make sure that we do all that we can to know that they're not going to be comfortable, and let's do our best to make them feel comfortable. Hey, I know you're going to be a little bit uncomfortable. I know I was. So you say that to them, relate to them, let them know that you know exactly what they're going through. Okay, that's not unique for them. That hey, everyone goes through that, and and let them know that look, I appreciate you being here. It takes a lot of courage. Give me a high five, or do even with an adult. Excellent. I appreciate you being here. And thank them when they do leave. Thank you so much for coming. Sometimes I'll do that in the beginning of class, even before we start. Guys, thank you so much for coming out today, because you guys, you know what? You are the reason why I'm here. Okay, if you were not here, I'd just be somebody talking, blabbing, right? Okay, not a teacher. And also, let them know that the only requirement from them is that they are willing to do their best. And I emphasize their. And you got to hear that from me a lot. Their best, not my best. Not your best, not their parents' best. And we parents are hard on this. It's my child is only required to do his or her best, not my best. Okay, and I need to check myself as a parent, as an instructor. Especially when we work with a new student. I think this way. Think of it. There's this concept when it comes to fitness with the ages. You want to think of gross motor skills as opposed to the fine motor skills. When a new student comes in, don't worry about the fine motor skills, whether it's a child or an adult. We say high block and they go like this. Whoa, awesome. That's a gross motor skill. They understood that a high block is going to protect up here somewhere, and then you're going to maybe use your arm. So it went up here. gross motor skill. Don't come back there and spend a significant amount of time do this and that. Because why? Because you're confirming what they're feeling already. I can't do this. Doesn't that make sense? You say, oh, that's great, excellent. What are they doing? They're doing their best, and that's the requirement. So let's make sure we really take that to heart. And then always add this and have this as let's say, as a fine print, is that even at our best, even at your best, you can still do better. So we know that. But let's focus on them doing their best. Celebrate that. Get them pumped up. Gosh, all I got to do is do my best. That's my best. And they're going to be growing like this, become more confident, and then you start fixing them. Oh, it's great, excellent. Okay, positive, positive, praise, and positive, right? Be positive, improvement, right? Improve them positively, praise them for that improvement, and then another positive improvement, opportunity to improve them. Okay, now there's 8 things here. After student enrolls, here are 8 golden rules, and I'm sure you guys can expound on this. Okay, the first one is never discuss, the sale or what they paid or anything like that. Okay, it's about their training. Any questions like that, that happens between the program director, and the person that is investing. The student does not need to know. I'm not talking about the adult student. Even if the adult student on the floor, that is never going to be an issue, okay? Because it's not about the money. It's not about what they invested. It's about them pouring in into themselves and taking out of it because they're here to train. And that's what we want to focus on. The next thing is that always bow or shake the hands of the new students. Come up to them right away. Mr. Alshul is great for that. I think all of you are great when you guys help out. All of you are doing a great job on that. So make sure you keep that up there. And also thank them. I said it early. Thank them for making a decision to join us. You become part of the family, and that's what we want them to feel. Okay, number 3 is that we all should, as CIT members, take the time out to take the time out. Now, if I met the student in the front, doesn't absolve you guys of the responsibility of taking the opportunity when it arises, or you create the opportunity to meet and greet them on your own. Even when they're on the floor, you're correcting them, you may come to, oh, hello, I know you're the new student, give me a high five there. It's great having you in here. My name is Mr. Laramie, and if you need anything and I can help you, please let me know. I'm so glad you're here. It's great having you here. You're part of the family. It's outstanding. I'm excited. So make sure they get this sense of feeling. Meet and greet them as CIT members, our responsibility. The next thing, number 4, is make sure you list the student's name. Write it down on a piece of paper right away. Inside, I pointed out last time, inside that doorway, as soon as you open the door, you look to your left right over here. There's a whole bunch of papers there. On the bottom, there are scrap papers. And they look like old VIP passes. That's fine. Use them. Get one of the pens, write down the name, put it right inside your master's pocket. Yeah? Okay, so make sure you get their name, and then you put it inside your timer or your smartphone. Put it somewhere, record it, and know it's a new. You have a new student, and really recognize them. And in your conscious, do 3 things that's going to help you remember that student. Okay, and also number 5 is during the first discussions with new students, CIT members should pinpoint 2 to 3 unique points about each of those students. Okay, that's a quality of them. Just whether something about what they're wearing, how they're acting, how they're key-upping, something positive that you're going to reinforce and encourage them with. Yeah, okay, and also relate that to their goal in martial arts. If it's a new student, their goal is getting their white belt, right? They came in, oh my gosh, you're here, you came outstanding, you've reached your first goal, you showed up. Now, don't you know that success begins when you show up? You've done it. Congratulations, they've met their first goal. High five that. And then tie that into martial arts. We cannot, and we have to make sure they understand this. We cannot make a black belt. As impressive as we are as black belts, we cannot make one without you, without that white belt. And you choosing to be here today and getting that white belt by choosing to show up, starts the journey for us to create another black belt. That's powerful. So make sure we find ways to encourage them. Number 6 is this: always give truthful answers to students' questions. Okay, always have an answer to the question. And you have to be discerning where, okay, this is, like for instance, I love what Master Denal said the other day, with a kid in math, a kid asked the question in math. And the question, the teacher said, you know what, for me to answer that question for you to understand that question, I have to teach you calculus. And so sometimes a student will ask you a question, like for instance, redondo. I was asked to, okay, show the kids redondo. I said, well, for them to learn redondo, they have to probably spend about a year in modern Arnese for me to teach it to them, to the redondo, and get all the flow of it, because I'm going to speak about flow, I'm going to speak about energy, I'm going to speak about posting. I could change the wording around, but the answer is long. So we have to find a way to give them answers, and this is what I like about the resource site. That's a great question. Redondo is really an advanced technique. You guys get a chance to experience that, but you don't want to see a video of that, see what it looks like, and you can slow it down, stop it, go over it, over and over it again, and even if you want to schedule a private lesson, we can help you with that. So have an answer, have an intelligent answer, and honest answer. Don't brush it off. If you don't know, you say, and I hate doing this, but sometimes I have to do this because I'm fallible. I don't know everything. So Mr. Larry, I really don't know, but I know where to get the answer. So give me your email or give me a contact and I'll get the answer to you. Okay, and so be honest about it. Be honest with your answers. Good. And number 7, always discuss concerns, or dare I say it, problems, privately. Okay, and everything can wait. Unless someone needs emergency, if their heart stops or they're not breathing, it's not an emergency. Or someone in their life that they have to go. If it's a question about a technique, it can wait. If there's an upset, it can wait. We have to choose our battles very, very carefully. If you have a whole class where if the energy of the whole class is all over the place, you have to find a way to not go to little battles. Stop talking about, stop talking about it. You start all of a sudden now fighting all these tiny little battles. You got to choose your battles wisely. Okay, if it's a student, and you'll see this a lot from me. Okay, Mr. Boyle, can you come right over here a second there? And let's say Mr. Boyle here is doing something that's very upsetting. Okay, and I won't right away stop him. I'm really getting good at this. He'll do what he does, and I have a whole class doing jumping jacks, and I come to Mr. Boyle, you okay today, sir? Okay, good. How you feeling? Pretty good? Yeah? Yeah, give me a high five there. I appreciate you coming in today, okay? Now, I'm going to have you help me today. I need your help on this, okay? Because I know you want to be a black belt, right? Say yes, sir. Okay, great. So I need your help. Now, can you help me? Say yes, sir. Now, I notice you're getting a little out of focus. Now, I know you know how to focus. I've seen you. Today, you're a little off. But can you help me out? Say yes, sir. Great. So I'm going to look forward to you doing that there. So come to the front and have you do 10 jumping jacks with them, right? Okay, everyone see how I do that? That you want to get really good. Thank you, sir. Right. Get really good at dealing with situations like that. Now if it's really something, you have to take someone off to the side. Okay, come right over here, sir. Yeah, come right over here. Okay, wait 1 second. Okay, everyone, 10 jumping jacks, counting English, nice and loud, ready and go. And Mr. Boyle, I need you to focus more, okay, sir? Okay, you're pulling attention there and you're not being what I'm asking you to do, right? Say yes, sir. Can I expect you to help me out? Good, give me a high five there, sir. Go right over there. Okay, ready, go right. And finish with a smile. Yeah, and I'm always smiling. Okay, and then that's privately. And if it keeps working, if it's 3-4 times, then I recommend that you make note of that. Do your best to use your leadership skills to drive the class. Remember, it's about the class. It's not about so much the student right now. And after class, while they're over there, you can take the opportunity to say, okay, you don't have to come up there, Mr. Boyle. And I know I'm calling you all out. You're a great student today. So anyone that's listening to this there, Mr. Boyle is an excellent student. Just using him as an example. Okay, and so, but when they're putting their shoes on, they can pull them up to the side, take a knee next to them. Hey, I saw you had a really tough time in class today. And so what's going on? Did something happen today? And I can guarantee you of this. Remember we talked about don't look at the behavior, look at the heart. Something happened in the life of that student that they are disruptive in a sense. So it's not so much disruptive of the class, but there's a disruption inside their life, what went on before. Okay, so you want to help them process that and let them know that you recognize it and you care about them. Okay, and part of martial arts is that we got to really, it's not about the kicks and punches that are going to get us, but it's everyday things that happen in life. So thank them for coming into class. Let them know if they need to talk or anything like that, that you're there for them. And if they want to talk right now, they can. But let them know that being part of a martial artist is coming here, bowing in, turning on to be your best. And I know your best is your best, and I know you did your best today, right, sir? Yeah, right, ma'am? Yes, sir, I did. Well, give me a high five on that. I know you did. But remember, we can always do better, and I can help you. So you create that dialogue, okay? So it's really, really important. That was number 7. Okay, the last one is always treat all the students the same. Same. It doesn't matter what their unique need is. Okay, that's one thing that I remember years ago. I was asked to do a birthday party for about 8 students that were autistic and had Asperger's, and I had never knew about these phrases until I started teaching martial arts. You know, I had to learn really fast because all I want to do is teach kicks and punches. Also, now I got to become a teacher, learn how to teach what I'm teaching, and then learn how people's different unique situations. Okay, and I had to. And Master Donald asked me, "Well, Master Liciaga, would you be willing to do that?" And at this point, I was willing to do anything to learn. I said, "Sure, I can do that," because at this point, I had pretty much confidence in my instruction and my ability for people to connect with me. So I was very confident. I said, "Yes, I'll do it." And it turned out to be the most incredible birthday party. And I was able to really let them all do their best, orchestrate it so that it was powerful. Everyone had a great time. The parents came and said, "Wow, this was incredible." And all the kids rose to an occasion and everyone had fun. It was incredible. And I learned a lot from that. Okay, so we really need to make sure that we treat everyone the same, but understand that everyone is unique. So treat everyone the same by knowing that they are unique. Okay, and you know, as an actor, I understand scripts. As an actor, I understand directors, I understand writers, and I understand how we need to, if a writer wants you to stick to the word for word for word, that's the scene, and the director wants you to act it this way. Okay, I'll do that as an actor, as a professional, I'm paid for it, I'll do that. But we actors like what we call actor's director. An actor's director is someone that allows the actor to read the script, get some background information, and develop the character. So I take the words, okay, and I create the scene, I create the background, I create the other characters in there, and then I create my character, so I say what I say based on what I've created. And a director will help mold me on that, and I love that kind of director. And when I worked with some of the great directors in theater, and also M. Night was like that. He allows me because I was able to understand that. We need to be the same way. Okay, I'll be your director, give you the scene, but then at the same time, you have to understand the unique situations, yeah? You have to draw it in. Who's this person? Who's that person? Who am I? What's my background? What do I bring to the table? Okay, now let me help them in a very unique way. Now you see there's a lot of thought that goes behind me as an instructor, right? There's a lot of research, and I put a lot into the one-on-one and the group. So everything that I do is done with a purpose. Okay, and there's no downtime. We have 45 minutes or even a half hour, right? You know that, and we got to get through that. But the number one thing is to transform lives, and it starts with that bow right there. And I always think of it this way: when somebody comes into the door, my job is to, and our job now is to understand what is their state, where are they? Look at their demeanor when they come in. How are they standing? Okay, you know, did they have a rough day that day? You can tell, right? Somebody had a rough day, or whether they're tired, or whether, you know, and you know, we can tell that, you know, if we're sensitive to it. Doesn't matter how old we are. You know there's something not right here, so let me help transform them. And it starts with that bow. Hi, how are you? Okay, it doesn't have to be so hardcore like this, but it can be soft, working up to it, so that by the end of class, they're excited, they're pumped up. I remember I had one student, I won't say his name, I know who exactly it is. Okay, at the end of class, he came up to me. He says, "Oh man, Harris, I really didn't feel great today, but I feel pumped up now." I said, "Thank you." He said, "Thank you so much." And I do that on purpose. I want to pump people up. Sometimes my energy could be back like this. Sometimes my energy is so far over the top because that's what the environment and everyone needs. Okay, guys, does that make sense? So any questions, any stand up, other than that, any other comments or anything like that, just send me via email or anything like that. Good karate tension, good karate bow, give yourself some energy. And everyone say Subak. Okay, you guys are out of here.